Good afternoon and welcome to the Show Me My Future virtual college exploration. We're here today with Full Sail University and so glad you're able to participate and join us for this informative session. Just a few things I want to let the participants aware of, and I'll share my screen with you briefly. The way you interact with the participants is through the Q&A button. Your camera's disabled, the microphone's disabled, the chat feature is not available, but Q&A is the way that you're going to want to interact, ask questions. So feel free to use that feature anytime, and then they'll be able to kind of get to you for that. And then lastly, there are more sessions offered. You can visit the Missouri ACAC website, which I think you did before. And this recording and all others will also be available at least until the end of the year on the Missouri ACAC website. So you're going to want to check that out as well too. So, but with that, I'm going to turn it over to Full Sail University.
Thank you. So welcome to everybody that's here so far. I'm going to take just a second and share my screen. Hope everybody's having a very good Sunday. All right, and I lied. I had to unshare it for just a second because I forgot to do the video optimization. Here we go. And we should be good. So I'm going to start it off with having this on the screen. If you are somebody that has already heard of Full Sail University and you're interested already in getting more information beyond what I can give you today, feel free to scan this QR code. I'll show you again at the end of the presentation, just in case you think of something you might want to talk to admissions about. But go ahead and do that really quick. And while I'm doing that, I'll introduce myself. So my name is Emily Miller. I've been working with Full Sail University for just about 4 years. I work in our outreach department, and whenever schools were open, I would travel all around the west side of Florida. And now we're all working from home. So Full Sail is over in Orlando. We are right in the middle of the state, kind of near Disney and Universal. I'll tell you a little bit more about our location in just a minute, but now I want to show you a quick little introductory video to who we are. All right, so you can see on there, and you'll be able to see on the next screen. If you haven't already heard of us, Full Sail University is an entertainment, media, art, and technology school. So right now we have just about 30 bachelor's degrees you could choose from, and they all fall into one of the categories that you see on the screen right now. So what you see, these are called our degree halos, basically the categories of what we offer. And I'm actually going to break each of these down a little bit later. So if you have any questions about a degree program, just know that I'm going to get to that. And if you have specific questions, drop them in the Q&A. So I mentioned we're in Orlando, Florida. We're actually in a suburb of Orlando called Winter Park. We are about 25, 30 minutes from Disney and the theme parks. We're also right in the middle of the state, so we're about 2 hours in each direction from the beaches. Cocoa Beach on one side, oh my gosh, like the Gulf Coast beaches on the other. We also have a lot of really cool outdoors things to do, which is my favorite thing to talk about. We have beautiful natural springs and parks and nature preserves. And if you're not into that, there's a lot of entertainment to do. Also, Full Sail is really close to UCF, which is one of the largest colleges in the nation. We're also very close to Rollins College and a few other universities. So right where our university is, it's very geared toward college students. There's a lot of fun things to do, lots of restaurants, lots of events. So it's very much geared towards college-age students. And speaking of college students, I just wanted to give you kind of an introduction to what our graduates have done through the years. This slide is a little bit older, so it doesn't have things updated from the past like 2-3 years. But you can see some things on here that maybe you've been interested in the past or still now. One of my favorites on here is Star Wars. We have graduates that have worked on all of the last 3 Star Wars movies, including The Rise of Skywalker, Game of Thrones. When people were into that, that was cool to mention, but since they botched the ending, I'm going to leave that one out a little. Lots and lots of things on here. A lot of these are film, but graduates have worked in many, many different entertainment fields. And this past year, they did really well. They went on to win some big awards. You can see that 50 of our grads were credited on Grammys this year, ones that were nominated for Grammys. 184 of our graduates were nominated for Oscars, it would be the Academy Awards, and then over 200 of our graduates that were credited on Game Award nominated games. And those always take place in December, so we'll get the 2020 update in just a few months. And all these graduates that have gone on to either win big awards or work for small companies, depending on what they want to take their career path in, they all start with a dream, right? Just like you probably have. And that dream could be anything in the entertainment field. And at Full Sail, you can see dream on our wall. This is in our Welcome Center. Our motto is, if you are serious about your dream, we'll take your dream seriously. So if you are interested, or not interested, that's too light of a word. If you are passionate about something in the entertainment field, whether it's creating video games or creating music or movies or writing or being a journalist, whatever your passion is, if you are willing to put in the work to get there and you come to Full Sail, we are passionate about helping you to get there. So I'm going to tell you a couple of reasons why Full Sail is unique as a university and why this might be a good fit as you are on the path of reaching your dreams. Oh, great. So a couple of things, again, that are maybe make Full Sail a little bit more unique is that at first you see here that it takes half the time. So a typical university is going to take about 4 years to accomplish a bachelor's degree, right? At Full Sail, for an on-campus bachelor's degree, it takes just about 20 months, and an online bachelor's degree takes about 29 months. So within a few months on either end, it takes just about 2 years. And that's a full bachelor's degree, right? So you can come to school for literally half the time, and this is advantageous because a lot of our graduates, they're trying to go into very competitive fields, whether that's filmmaking or music production, you name it. Having that extra time to pursue their job and kind of work their way up the ladder in their industry is very beneficial as opposed to staying in school for 4 years. All right, next up, we have a rolling admissions. You probably have heard that listening to a lot of college fairs recently. A lot of universities do a rolling admissions, but Full Sail is unique in the way that not only do our application dates roll through the year, but also our start dates roll. We actually have a start date every single month throughout the year. So if you've been thinking like, oh, I really want to go to college, I graduate in May, but I just don't feel like I'll be ready to start in August, cool. We started another class in September, October, November, December, the rest of the year. Or if you are graduating high school in May and you think, I don't want to break, I want to just get right to it, you can start in June or at the end of May. That is totally up to you. We like it to be flexible. And this also means that our scholarship application dates are flexible as well. So if you're interested in Full Sail, you're going to be applying to scholarships, just keep your eye on those because they change all the time. Next, career support. So this is one of my favorite parts about Full Sail because we really have a commitment to helping you succeed once you're at school, but also once you graduate. So we always say, or I always say that we don't only want you to know how to do your future job, but we also want you to know how to get the future job. So we're not only teaching you how to work camera if you're in film, but we're also teaching you how to apply to jobs, how to network with people, how to write resumes that are really good, cover letters, all of those things. We want you to have as much practice as possible. And actually monthly on campus, when campus is open, we have networking summits. And as a student, you would actually have a networking summit your very first week at school. This kind of thrusts you into that arena where you're meeting people, you're having to think on your feet, tell them an elevator pitch about yourself, and really start practicing from the beginning what you're going to need to get a job once you graduate. Oh, and another thing is that our career advising department, they actually stick with you for life. So you can meet with them as a student, of course, but once you graduate, let's say you're out in the industry for 5, 10, 20 years, you can always call Full Sail and say, hey, I'd like some support as I look for my next job, and they're going to be there to help you out. One more thing is that we actually have lifelong learning, so you can come back to Full Sail and take classes for the rest of your life in your field for free. This is important. It's called course auditing if you look at our website, but this is important because, you know, in any of these industries, technology changes so rapidly that you want to make sure that you're always on top of it. That way you can stay fresh and you can stay relevant in your field. So come back, take those classes again for free once you've graduated, and you'll be able to stay current in your degree field. All right, and the last thing here is portfolio projects. This is something very important to our education model. So at Full Sail, each of our students completes 7 portfolio projects between the time they start and the time they graduate. And if you've never done a portfolio before, it's basically a collection of your best work. So as you're going through school, you're practicing, you're making portfolio projects with a lot of different skills that you're going to need to be successful in the field. When you graduate, you have this whole portfolio, and I'm making a hand motion because portfolio, I think of folder, but it could be a hard copy or digital, and you're going to have that to send to employers and say, hey, look, these are all the skills I have. This is all the work that I'm really good at. I would be beneficial to you as an employee. So it really helps our graduates get their foot in the door as they go out and find their jobs. Okay, next thing is that we want you to be successful both in school and afterwards. So we want all of our students to have the technology they need to find success in their chosen field. So each of our students receives what's called Full Sail's Project Launchbox. And this is essentially your kit of technology, both hardware and software, that you'll need for your degree program. So this is the one part of our tuition that's actually a separate fee. Full Sail provides you the project launchbox. It's at a completely discounted price from the manufacturers since it's through our education program. But all of our programs are unique in the technology that you would receive. So this one here, this is a music production degree program. So you can see that students receive a MacBook Pro, but they're also receiving Pro Tools as a software. They're receiving a Sennheiser mic, Sennheiser headphones, microphone cables. These students are going to be ready to produce music at home or on campus, but you know, they can start freelancing as a student because they have this technology. And again, they keep it after they graduate. And the next one here, this is just another example. This is from one of our gaming programs. Our gaming students do not get a Mac. Usually they get some sort of HP or at least some sort of PC that they can use because they have a bigger hard drive space, which is important if they are trying to build game engines. So what they're currently getting is an MSI GE Raider laptop, you can see here, and then all of the software that they need to be successful as well. So speaking of gaming, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. You can see here on the top left, there's something called Armada Esports. This is one of our many clubs at Full Sail. And as you're looking through, you might think like, oh, wow, these clubs look like something that I would like to be involved in. Or maybe you're thinking, oh, there's a lot of clubs, but not really anything that I see that interests me. If you come to Full Sail, we have a very easy process of starting a club, and we love to see students starting new clubs and getting more involved on campus. So keep that in mind. But one of them are Armada Esports. This is kind of a club, but more of, it's a sports team. It really is a sports team. This is our collegiate esports team. So we're called the Full Sail Armada. We've been around for about 2 years now. And what you see on the screen right now is called the Fortress. This is right on Full Sail's campus. And right now it is the largest collegiate esports arena in the country. So we're very excited and proud of that. But we have teams that play in a lot of different games, a lot of different types of athletes. You can see on here that they're playing Fortnite. But if you are a serious gamer and you are good at a particular game, you think you're at a competitive level, audition to, or I guess try out to be part of our Armada. This is something that you could actually receive a scholarship to come to Full Sail for. All right, so I just give you a lot of information. So if you guys have any questions right now, drop those into the chat. This would be a good point to answer some of those. If not, I'm going to move on to telling you a little bit more in detail about each of our degrees. And while I wait to see if anything pops up in the Q&A, I'm just going to take a quick sip of water. All right, don't see any open questions yet. That's okay. If they pop through, I'll just pause and answer them. All right, so you can see music up here first. Music is actually the first degree that we ever had at Full Sail. All the way back in 1979, our founders had basically an old Volkswagen van that they cleared out the back and they turned it into what they called the Dream Machine to host a recording arts program, not a degree, but just a program up in Ohio. And through many things throughout the years, they ended up coming down to Winter Park, buying the buildings, building our campus into what it is. And now we have many 30 plus bachelor's degree programs, and it all started with a recording arts program in the back of a van. So music is something very special to Full Sail. We offer 4 programs right now: recording arts, music production, show production, which is for live events, maybe theater or concerts or things like that. And then we also have music business, if you're not so musically inclined, but you love the industry. Next up, we have gaming. Gaming is another huge program at Full Sail. We have 3 different areas. So right now we have game art, so doing any and all of the visuals for a game, backgrounds, textures, characters. We also have game development, which is building the engines, the world that the game is going to take place in. Lots and lots of coding for game development. And then we also have game design, which involves a little bit of everything. That's more level design, game testing, scripting, things like that. Something important with game development, which is the one where you're building the environments for a game, it's very coding heavy, as I mentioned. As a student, you would actually learn 36 different programming languages, which is good because when you graduate, you could basically work anywhere knowing that many languages. But with that program and also computer science and simulation and visualization, which we'll get to later, those programs require an entry math test. So you would have had to have passed Algebra 2 in high school with a C+ or higher and have passed our introductory math test as you begin your program. So that's just something to keep in mind. That sets the game development program apart from some of our other programs. And in our gaming program, these are the 4 main areas that we really deal with. So you can see how the programs fit into here, but we deal with animation, programming, design, and then business. The business part's really important because if you make a game, you want to know how to make money from it. But our students actually work together. Each of our gaming students is with a team of usually 4 to 5 other people. And in the last 5 months of their degree program, they actually build a game completely from scratch, working together. So you have an animator, you have a programmer, you have a designer, and they work together to make a game come to life. All right, next up we have art. We already heard about game art, but we do have several other programs. We have graphic design, we have digital art and design, and then we also have computer animation. Where game art focuses on animating for video games, computer animation is more animating for cartoons, movies, commercials, things that you would see on the big screen. In our programs, I love the art programs because they really start from the basic level. So if you are interested in art at all, it's really going to take you from the ground up. You literally start pen and paper, drawing, sketching, then you turn those sketches into a clay model like you're seeing on the screen here. And those start from basic to very detailed, intricate. And you learn how to put it onto a computer. You learn how to use software that lets you animate on the screen. So it really does start from the ground up. If you don't know how to animate on a computer yet, fear not, because you will learn all of that. And we're really heavy in Adobe on Full Sail's campus. So if you've ever played around with Adobe Photoshop, of course, things like that, those are programs that you'll be using a lot at Full Sail. And we actually have a competition just to kind of keep our students fresh on those. It's called the Adobe Creative Jam, as you can see. Students compete in graphic design, photography, and video editing. They have a couple of hours, and then they're judged on who is the best in this area. And usually our students are able to win a cash prize. So it's just something fun that they can participate in. But I wanted to put this up here so that you know that we do use a lot of Adobe. So if you're interested in, especially art at Full Sail, that might be a software that you would like to get acquainted with before coming. All right, next up we have film. this is also one of our more popular degree programs. Full Sail graduates in film have gone on to work on, oh boy, probably most of the movies that you've seen in recent years. We have them in all areas of Hollywood: directors, camera operators, set designers, script writers, you name it. And in our film program, it really is all encompassing. So you don't really come to Full Sail to learn acting. We're more of a behind the scenes, behind the camera kind of school. But our students do learn basically the whole film industry. So the business side, sure, but then they're learning the set construction. They're learning how to actually use the cameras and costume design, special effects makeup, things like that. Basically, if you can think of a job in the film industry, you would learn how to do it in this program. And I do want to point out a few things on this video. You can see that they are in front of a car and you can see some buildings behind. This is part of our back lot on our campus. It's a big outdoor set. It spans the whole backside of campus. It has 18 scenes from around the world, including the French Quarter in New Orleans, the Brooklyn brownstones in New York. There's a fake gas station, there's Seattle fish market. There's also like a zombie apocalyptic zone. So students really have a cool opportunity to film on our campus in locations that they otherwise wouldn't be able to go to, or it would be very expensive to go to. And if you are a filmmaker and you're interested in, broadcasting your films and sending them out to festivals, Full Sail usually works with the Florida Film Festival. And this is really exciting for our students because it's a good kind of first step into the competitive film world. Some of our students have done really well at this festival. And if you do well at a local festival, then you have more of an opportunity to present your movie at a bigger one like Sundance or the Cannes Movie Festival or Film Festival. Next, we have technology. So technology is huge at Full Sail. A lot of these degrees are some of our newest ones because we really try to stay current with our curriculum, and technology is just changing all the time. So at Full Sail, right now we have quite a few programs. We have something called computer science. We have mobile development, which would be designing apps and programs for cell phone technology. We have something called simulation and visualization, which is, there's a lot of stuff that's involved in that. A lot of it's virtual reality, technology, building games and technology for that. But also a lot of it is fabrication. We have actually this professor that was just on the screen. They do a lot of like robotic fabrication. He designed a fully functioning Iron Man hand for a child that needed a prosthetic. They make just all sorts of very functioning things. And a lot of it does deal with virtual reality technology, like you can see on here. Next, we have media and communication. This deals with a lot of things, including journalism, social media management. Creative writing also falls under this category as well. So if you were interested in script writing, that would be in creative writing. But our media communication students, they learn a lot about just how to communicate and how to keep these entertainment businesses running through marketing, advertising, things like that. And that also ties in closely with our business school. So we do have our entertainment business program that our students learn. And business is really the driving factor behind all these other programs, right? Like if you don't have business, you're not going to make money from the movie you made or the music that you produce. So business people are so important to coming up with creative solutions in the entertainment field and also helping to propel your creative ideas forward. Lastly, we have our sports area. So sports at Full Sail is also one of our relatively new programs within the last decade. We have two. The first one is sports marketing and media, and that would deal a lot with marketing for sports, that's in the name, but also acquiring sponsorships for teams or maybe representing an athlete. And then we also have a sports casting program. And if you're interested in sports, you may have heard of a man named Dan Patrick. He's one of the original anchors from ESPN Sports Center. And he's actually the founder of this program. We partnered with him to create it at Full Sail. And he essentially is teaching the next generation of sportscasters how to be successful in that field. So that's actually our only in front of the camera program, but you get to work closely with a lot of students that also share a passion for sports and for broadcasting. All right, so we're about 25 minutes in. I do have some more information now, a little bit less about our programs and a little bit more about things that we are doing right now geared toward high school students. So I'm gonna get started with that in just 1 second. I'm gonna take one more sip of water, so I've been talking a lot. And again, if you have any questions, just drop those in the Q&A. If you have questions, if your parents have questions, or if you had a friend that had a question, just throw those in and I'll do my best to answer. But what you see on the screen right now, we are currently doing something really cool. It's our first time ever doing it. It's called the Creativity Marathon. And if you are a filmmaker, this is something that might interest you. You, along with a team of fellow students, could compete in a film competition to win some very cool prizes. And this is a worldwide competition. So we have students registered from the United States, Brazil, India. Those are the 3 big areas that students are coming from, but they're coming from all over to compete in this. And essentially, you would be creating a film about one of UNESCO's sustainability ideas. So if that's something that interests you, you would need a teacher or a parent to be your sponsor. But you could go onto our website, search for Creativity Marathon, and check that out. The deadline is actually coming up soon to register. So don't hesitate if you're interested in competing. If you're a filmmaker, check out the Creativity Marathon. If you're a gamer, we also have a competitive esports series coming up for high school students. So if you have maybe just yourself, or maybe you have a team of other friends that you like to compete with or just play games with, you can compete. Again, you would need a sponsor, whether that's a parent or a high school teacher, but they could come in and sponsor you. You can compete in our esports series. It's entirely virtual, and this is another great way to win some prizes and also just get some practice playing in the esports world. So if you have any questions about that, also let me know. And this, I'm sorry, I didn't update my slide with the October dates. I can look that up really quickly, but once a month we have something called the behind the scenes tour. Right now we're doing these entirely virtually. This is our big open house where you can learn about campus, you can do a workshop in your field so you can get a little bit of practice to see what your classes would look like. You get to meet with professors, you get to meet with current students, you get to meet with some of our Hall of Fame graduates, which are the top performers in their field. They've won big awards and things like that. They come back and give you advice. There are also panels that your parents can participate in so they can learn a little bit more about financial aid and tuition and things like that. But if you're interested, I'm going to drop the date in there and just a second into our, actually, I don't have a chat. So I'll just grab that in just a minute and let you know. But again, behind the scenes tour, if you go to our website or you just Google Full Sail virtual tours, excuse me, it'll bring it up and you'll be able to see it. But this happens twice a month and it's always on a Sunday. We also have something called Full Sail Labs, and this is a branch of our campus that is geared toward middle school, high school age students, and developing curriculum for them. So if you love entertainment, you love technology, but you're still too young to go to college, check out our Full Sail Labs website. We do have online courses that you could take that could get you a little more acquainted with your field. But we also have summer camps every year. And this past year, we did our first string of virtual summer camps out of necessity, but they went super well. So if you guys don't live in Florida, if you wanted to do a virtual Full Sail summer camp, that's something that you'll probably have access to do in the future since we already had a successful year doing it virtual one time. But we also have them on campus. So if you wanted a vacation to Florida, you could always come and do a Full Sail Labs summer camp next summer as well. All right. So I did want to tell you a little bit about our admissions requirements, tuition, and scholarships. So at Full Sail, as you can tell, we kind of do things a little bit differently. So first of all, our tuition and our financial aid is structured in a way that everything is included. You can go to our website and under the admissions tab, there's information about tuition and financial aid. Our tuition involves everything except for the lunchbox package. So this would include, of course, your regular tuition, but then also all of your books are included, your lab fees, instructor fees, everything like that is rolled into your tuition. And once you start at Full Sail, your tuition is locked. So even if our tuition goes up each year, you're locked into what you started paying as soon as you enrolled. So that is super important, especially because college tuition across the nation tends to go up every year. Yours won't be growing with it. But we also do offer scholarships, and we also accept FAFSA. So if you qualify for federal financial aid, definitely apply for that. And you could apply that toward your tuition at Full Sail. For anything that's not covered by FAFSA, we also have a lot of different scholarships, and I highly recommend you checking out our scholarship guide, especially if you're a senior. So historically, we have offered something called the Creative Minds Scholarship. It usually opens up in November, so keep your eye out for that. It's usually open from November to February for students that will be starting at Full Sail the following fall. Last year, the Creative Minds Scholarship was $25,000. In other years, it has ranged between $10,000 to $25,000. It just kind of depends on the year and what other scholarships we're offering and how they stack together. So if you're interested in applying, definitely keep your eye out for that. In order to apply for Creative Minds, again, historically, all you've had to do is submit a 250-word essay on how your creative mind has led you to Full Sail. And you also have to be a high school senior to apply. Full Sail also has a lot of ways that you can keep in touch with us. So you can see behind me, I have my email address. It's elmiller@fullsail.com. If you have questions beyond today or you think of any, you can always email me. Or if you just want to learn more about us, we have all the social media, including TikTok, unless that gets taken away by the government, which they might have already done that. But I recommend going to Full Sail's YouTube channel. This is the best way that you can hear from some of our past graduates and see a visual of what's going on our campus. You can learn a lot about our yearly Hall of Fame ceremony, which is our big celebration of our students. It's kind of like our homecoming. And then there are also a lot of videos that are graduate stories where they tell you, you know, this is where I was, this was my dream, this is what life was like at Full Sail, and then this is what life has been like since I graduated. So definitely check out the Full Sail YouTube. That's my favorite resource out of all of these. And if you're feeling a little creative, you feel like having a competition, maybe winning a prize. Right now we're doing a competition on Instagram. We're drawing a weekly winner. If you go onto Instagram and use the hashtag FullSailOnTour next to a picture of the things that inspire you to be creative, you'll be entered into a contest to win some Full Sail swag. So I love these on the screen. These are some submissions from the past. The top person, I guess they were inspired by Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, but my favorite is the middle one. You can see there's a GameCube controller. That was my favorite console as a kid growing up. You can see that there is Harry Potter again, a Legend of Zelda patch, Reese's Cups, which are my favorite. Not that you guys need to know that. So go ahead, look into this. Go onto Instagram if you have that and take a picture of the things that inspire you. Use the hashtag FullSailOnTour and you will be entered into that competition. All right, so we're back here again and we have still about 15 minutes, a little bit less. So if you didn't get to scan the QR code at the beginning, you can go ahead and do that. What this will do is it will take you to an information request page, and that will ultimately put you in touch with our admissions department and start the conversation. They'll be able to send you more information about whichever program suits you best or about any of the programs you want to learn about if you're maybe not decided yet. So you can check that out. You can also just follow this link directly, fsoutreach.com/fs3. Either way, it's going to put you in touch with our admissions team. And that's something that you could always opt out of in the future if you decide maybe to go to another university or something like that. It's not binding forever. So I'm going to show you very quickly, so we do have some time, a video that includes some of the work that our graduates have done in the past year. So while this is on, just think of any questions that you have. Pay attention to the work that's shown. You might see something that maybe is your favorite song or favorite movie or something like that. And then once this is over, I'm going to just open it up into complete Q&A and answer any further questions that you have.
One more. Oh, yeah.
Not a word.
That was awesome!
And as you can see, there were names at the bottom of each of those clips. Those are the names of our grads that worked on that project.
Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what.
You gotta run and don't look back.
So many people who dare to take on problems work with IBM.
A lot of high-class people out there that's looking down on me.
Bring me outside in.
Jones is there and caught it.
We teach girls to shrink themselves.
All right. So again, that was just a little collection, and I'll put it back on this Connect with Us slide. Whoops. There we go. So a little collection of things that our graduates have worked on in recent years. As you can see, there's a little bit of everything from each corner of the entertainment industry. So they've worked on some recent movies, and some have been directors, animators, all these different jobs. They have worked on commercials. They've worked with companies like IBM and Google. They have broadcasted sports games and big competitions like WrestleMania. They have worked as tour managers for different artists as they're traveling with their music. So they work all throughout the industry. And I think it's very inspiring because if you're a student that has a dream in the entertainment world, more than likely a Full Sail graduate has already followed that path, at least somewhat closely. And so you can find their story, learn about it, and be inspired by that as you go onto your own journey. So that is all the information that I have for you today. We have about 7 minutes left. So if anybody has any questions, I would love to answer those. I'm gonna just hang on and keep the screen up until I see anything come in. And if not, then I will invite our host back on and we can wrap everything up. So I'll give it just a minute. But I do want to thank you all for being here today, participating. And I hope that you learned a lot about what Full Sail is, and hopefully you are inspired to pursue your dreams in one of these fields.
We'll give it about 30 seconds or so, Emily,
Yeah,
and see if
begin.
anything pops in.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I just got one that
Oh,
came
there's
through.
one. Yep, go ahead.
Perfect. So the question that we just got through, does the video game competition go live? So I'll answer that on both sides. So for the high school video game competition, that will be live, and that will start in just a couple of weeks. So I can't remember the exact date, but if you look at our website, High School Esports Competition, it'll be able to tell you more information on there, but that should be getting started within the next couple of weeks. And then for Full Sail Armada, those are usually campus-based, But right now they are virtual competitions and those happen in real time as well. So if you, for the student that asked the question, if you are interested in video games, definitely check out more about the Armada, about the high school esports competition, and just about our gaming degrees. Any other questions about anything that I just mentioned or anything that I talked about through the presentation?
Nothing else popping in there, it looks like?
Nothing else popping in. So if you think of any questions later for all of our attendees, again, my email is elmiller@fullsail.com. Feel free to email me at any point. Check out our website, fullsail.edu. There is all the information there as well. So thank you again, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen and pass it back to you.
Excellent. Okay. So just as we wrap up here, got a couple of things for our participants. You're going to have a quick survey at the end of this. Only about 4 questions. We just want to get an idea of how we're doing these things and how we might improve them, since this is kind of new territory for all of us, right? So we want to get a sense of how this is working. Please visit the MOACAC website. That's the professional organization that's are putting on these series of events, moacac.org, because there are more sessions there coming up this week. But you'll be able to see and look at the Full Sail recording session on the website, as well as all the other 183 that are going to occur over these 4 weeks. So anyway, please take a look at that and visit those recordings as you need to. But otherwise, thanks very much for joining us. That was great information, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.